With the attempt on his life a failure, Sidious pronounced Order 66, triggering the inhibitor chips in all clone soldiers to have them turn against their Jedi generals. Sidious then ordered Darth Vader to lead the assault against the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, killing the younglings as his initiation into the dark side. Although the Great Jedi Purge finally granted the Sith vengeance against their ancient enemy, some few escaped the massacre and went into hiding. In order to hunt down these last remaining Jedi, Sidious created the Inquisitorius, a group of Force-sensitive dark side acolytes of limited power who would report to Darth Vader. Leading this group was a former Jedi Temple guard who grew disillusioned with the Order towards the end of the war and then fell to the dark side. Having survived the initial purge, Obi-Wan Kenobi tracked down his fallen apprentice Anakin Skywalker, engaging in a duel that ended with Obi-Wan as the victor, cutting off Anakin's legs and an arm while leaving him to burn in the fires of Mustafar. Obi-Wan then departed as his former apprentice screamed in pain, unwilling to finish him off, instead leaving his fate to the Force. As a result, Sidious rescued his apprentice and built him a cybernetic suit, teaching him to use pain, anger, and hatred as fuel to reach new heights of power in the dark side. Padme Amidala died soon after learning of Anakin's betrayal of the Jedi, but was able to successfully give birth to twins, naming them Luke and Leia before her passing. The children of Anakin Skywalker were split up, with Obi-Wan taking the boy to Tatooine to live with relatives of Anakin's mother, while the girl was given to Bail Organa, who would raise her as a princess of Alderaan. Though the purge and subsequent hunt for the Jedi nearly wiped them out, some few did survive, such as Grandmaster Yoda, who went into exile on Dagobah, having learned from the Force that it was his destiny to wait for the one who would restore the Jedi Order. Meanwhile, with the Separatists and Jedi both defeated, Chancellor Palpatine dissolved the Republic and declared himself Emperor of the First Galactic Empire. Having kept track of all those who opposed him during the years of the Clone Wars, Palpatine began to arrest and kill any who posed a threat to his power. Yet some of these people went into hiding, while others feigned loyalty to the Emperor, as they organized a rebellion in secret, working from the shadows to restore the Republic. With his enemies largely vanquished, Emperor Palpatine ruled for many years, during which time he consolidated his power, reorganizing the government and military, and diminished the power of the Senate to become a symbolic organization with no real authority. Sidious also spent time training Vader in the ways of the Sith, with one of his first lessons teaching the truth about kyber crystals, and how they were living beings that could feel pain and be made to bleed. Vader was therefore sent off to track down a Jedi and take his lightsaber, so he might remove the kyber crystal within and corrupt it with his anger and hatred. Finding Kirak Infila living in self-imposed exile on the river moon of Aldolim, the battle nearly ended with the death of Vader. However, by exploiting the Jedi's compassion, Infila was forced to use his powers to save the people of a local city, and this distraction allowed Vader to steal his green lightsaber and snap his neck with the Force. Afterwards, Vader went to Mustafar and attempted to corrupt the crystal with the help of a Sith shrine, yet it proved a difficult process as the crystal channeled the light side and resisted him, even granting him a vision that tested his dedication to the dark side. But ultimately he passed the test and bled the crystal, creating his own red lightsaber. For years, Vader acted as the secret enforcer for Emperor Palpatine, often dealing with an ever-increasing number of rebel attacks across the galaxy. On one occasion, the Emperor joined Vader on a trip to Ryloth, which was having trouble with the Free Ryloth movement, which fought to free the planet from Imperial control. During this journey, their ship was shot down, and the rebel group attempted to kill the Emperor and Vader, only to fail and be forced to flee their homeworld. One of these Twi'lek rebels was the famous hero Cham Syndulla, who along with his daughter Hera would come to play an important role in the development of a larger rebel alliance. Though few were even aware of Darth Vader's existence, some high-level Imperials worked with him on a number of projects, such as Wilhuff Tarkin and Thrawn, both of which were exceptional officers that gained Vader's respect, with Tarkin even becoming somewhat of a friend to the Dark Lord. Vader was also one of the few privy to the larger plans of the Emperor, learning about his secret efforts to build a superweapon called the Death Star. While investigating rebel activity on Lothal, Vader interacted and fought with Jedi Kanan Jarrus and his apprentice Ezra Bridger, and could have easily defeated them, but chose to let them live so he might follow their ship. Later, while once again facing these rebel Jedi on the planet of Malachor, his former apprentice Ahsoka Tano interfered, distracting the Dark Lord so the others might escape. Love audiobooks? Then be sure to check out Audible, where they have the world's largest collection available. Simply sign up through the link in the description box below and get 2 free audiobooks to start out. A special thanks to all those who contribute to CivilizationEx, like Sir Daeron of House Ashford, Madam Faith, Winter Sorceress of House Scarisbrick, Tio, the Iron Banker, and Sir Rice of the Dreadfort. If you would like to help CivilizationEx, click on the Patreon link, and please be sure to like and subscribe, and click on the links to see more.